That's crazy, Smelly. That's crazy. I'm not even live yet. Not even live yet. You're already busting my fucking balls. Oh, not even live yet. I'm not like I'm out here fucking getting shit set up. Already busting my nuts. Insane. Crazy. Yeah, I was editing the upload. But I had like I'm a little late. Look, it's casual Friday, casually late. You know how it is. And I got like really nauseous for some reason. Like, I was like feeling super gross, nauseous. So I ate some crackers, drank a bunch of water, and I feel better now. But yeah, man, man, can I breathe? Can I breathe? Can a friend breathe? Can a guy breathe? Like George Floyd over here, man. Holy shit. Anyway, you removed the only love speech for now. I don't even know what you said. I didn't see it yet. I was getting things set up. So, pregnant? Yeah, I'm prego. Oh. But yeah, it seems like it's a little bit of a slower news day. The big problem when I edit is it's harder for me to be like on top of things, like on the news and on all that. You could create 1 million George Fords. I did see people reposting this though, but I haven't had the chance to check Telegram today, so I guess we'll do that now. You just created 1 million George Floyds, true. Honestly, if you have sympathy for that bitch, you're not gonna make it. True. Tucker's newsletter says, I don't care what side you're on, a woman was shot in the face, and that's a tragedy. No, it really isn't at all. When Charlie Kirk was shot and killed, these dirtbags publicly celebrated. When Trump was shot in the face, they publicly celebrated. These far-left activists are evil garbage. They want you dead, and they are actively working to destroy our country. True. Look, never forget, in the words of Samuel Hyde, never forget that these people want you dead, jobless, and your children raped, and they think it's funny. These people are our enemy. I know that's like not... Maybe that's like not like optical to say at this moment. Maybe it's in poor taste so soon, but they are cheering on the barbarian hordes. They are opening the gates of Toledo. They're destroying our fucking country and our society. Excuse my language. What's up, SSB? And they're cheering it on. And that woman tried to run over that ICE officer, which, by the way, if you haven't seen my latest video upload, go check that out. There was some new information that came out today that I just think makes it so cut and dry that this woman is just deserved to get fucking shot in the face. Let's just be real. Yeah, the use of force was by no means excessive. It was a little ambiguous before, but I think with the new footage, the new angles, it's clear she knew the guy was in front of him. She knew the agent was in front of the car. She accelerated. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. So I feel vindicated on that. Iranian politicians being unalived. You have a lot of catching up to do. But it seems like there's not a lot major happening. I mean, there's instability in Iran. I saw that that's going on. You know, these people are dying in some of these violent protests. There's this massive fire in Argentina, and people think that some Israelis had something to do with it. I saw a few posts on that, and that goes back to an older unrealized plan. I think, what was it, from the 70s, to migrate a bunch of Israelis into Argentina. So maybe we'll get into that today too. Your neighbor's cow had a baby calf this morning and literally lived next to Moose. That's crazy. Did they stop protesting over this woman? I don't know if they really were. Like, I think they had like a vigil or something. I don't know if they're still going crazy, but you know, she was a liberal white woman. They don't really care. If it were like a black woman or like something like that, then yeah, they would be burning down the fucking streets. But there's even like this clip of I just saw it. Where is it? This like perfectly encapsulates like this self-emulating, self-loathing, like liberal hive mind. This perfectly encapsulates it. The sentiment that they have.
So I mean, I'm just walking around kind of just dazed-eyed because I was like, I don't know if it's the right thing to do. It feels kind of wrong being here in some way. I don't know why.
Why do you think? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Like where that stems from. Like I mean, part of it is being like a white woman that I'm privileged and I have a lot of privilege. So I feel like white tears are not always something that's helpful or necessary when black and brown people have been experiencing this for a long time. This isn't new for them, and so I don't know if that makes any sense in that way.
How did you decide that you should be here? Or are you still figuring that out?
Well, I work like 2 miles from here, so driving by, just I don't, you know, it's like I'm here. I'm 2 miles. I can
Look at the
stop,
barricades, bro.
So I mean,
This like perfectly just like this kind of mawkish, self-loathing bullshit needs to die. No, that's not a dog whistle for anything, but like that sentiment needs to be put down forever. Enough. Enough of that. These people are destroying our society. Simple as. Like, it's actually insane. It's actually insane. And it's almost like, look, man, this might be controversial to say, but it's like, what do you really expect is going to happen to you people? You hate yourself so much. Like, if you hate yourself so much that you won't even embrace your own existence, why shouldn't some third world 80 IQ like subhuman freak, why shouldn't they just come and rape you if you're so hateful? Do you understand this idea that like white privilege is such a problem? Well, why don't you just give it up then? Give everything up to the third world. Why should then anybody protect you from some third world like 68 IQ Somalian, some freak, some freak that doesn't even understand what rape is? You understand? Like, it's just, this is just so disgusting to me. These people are so disgusting, and I detest it because they're cheering on the rape of this country and their people. So enough. So yeah, it's just so shameful. And here's like another example.
If I
this smug like
us,
liberal feminist
with us, honking your horn,
completely unafraid,
blocking our cars, you have a very high probability of making a really bad decision and being arrested today, okay?
I think I'm making exactly
I'm not.
the right decision.
Oh, then why are you giving her a warning?
I'm giving her a warning to not interfere with what we're doing, to not make a bad decision today and ruin your life.
Whoa, bad
Okay,
decisions.
thank you.
That's funny coming from you.
Okay, alrighty. Thank you. Have a good day.
I hope you have a terrible day.
Okay, thank you.
and I think Basil, to his credit, I think he sums it up pretty nicely. She would have had the same smug smile on her face as she watched me and my friends carted off on cattle cars for being unvaccinated in 2021. I know a demon when I see one. Very true, Basil. Our based homo is 100% right. It's not grape, it's cultural enrichment. Yeah, I mean, maybe these freaks would like that. These fucking disgusting degenerates. So, look, man. What's up, Hawker? How's it going, dog? How's it going? How's it going? Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me get that out of the way first. Like the stream right now. Hit the like button. I gotta remember to shill more often. Otherwise, people won't do it. So, speaking of which, I just uploaded a new video. Check that out. Check that out. Give it a like. Leave a comment. Make sure to leave a comment. So true. You know, watch it. It helps with what is it? The engagement. If like retention time is important too. So if you haven't seen it, it's from yesterday. I added a new segment based on the new footage we saw today. That's worth checking out. What else? Yeah. Anyway. You got suspended from Discord? What did you say? What did you say on Discord? I don't use Discord like that, you know? I'm not out here like trying to debate people on fucking Discord, you know? Like that's... I only use Discord for like to talk to friends. I like have like a Discord channel I was thinking of using for like my channel and all that. I don't know if I want to do that. I don't like, because I don't want to be responsible for, you know, being like the Discord internet janitor that's gonna like police it and all that. I don't want to have to deal with like, you know, like banning people and all that. I don't want to have to moderate. Like that's seems like such a headache. So Jacob Frey is straight and has a female wife. I don't know. We are responsible adults in chat. True. Hateful conduct. That must mean I said something true that somebody didn't want to hear. Yeah, it's just like, yeah, just don't get banned. Try not to get banned. It doesn't actually, it's not really helpful getting banned. I mean, Discord's free. You can always make a new account, but it's annoying. Annoying having to do that and all. Yeah. Yeah, never forget that Elon banned all these Goiper accounts because they were criticizing... First of all, they banned Project Goiper, which was a... They had the gold check mark. It was a organization. And they just blanket banned everyone associated with it. For criticizing H-1Bs. So... That's what's so frustrating. Like, do not listen to Elon. He is so full of shit, man. When he talks about, like, he's out here, like, retweeting, quote tweeting people talking about how bad white genocide is, and he's a part of it. He is a part of white genocide. Elon Musk is a part of white genocide. So until he uses his power to limit that, to reverse that trend, I don't want to hear about it, man. They don't have to tell you what you said. You said homosexuality is wrong. Elon took Asmongold's blue checkmark for not believing Elon was a gamer. Yeah, remember that? Like, and that's just like, that's just so fucking crazy. Because he's not a gamer. Or he is, but he lied about being like, what, top 8 Diablo 4 player in the world? Do you have any idea how much time and effort that takes? You're telling me this guy in what in his 50s is a top 8 Diablo player in the world, while also being, you know, running Tesla, running X, running SpaceX, flying around the fucking country with Trump, campaigning. At this point, you know, Doge, he's doing all of this, and he's still the number 8 Diablo player in the world. Are you kidding me right now? In his 50s. What a joke. And people expose that for being obviously fake. Like, they showed that he didn't know what he was doing. You know, any Diablo player, who's played for, like, a week that's competent would tell you, like, all of the things he's doing wrong. So it's just like, why are you lying about that? Why are you lying about something so stupid and inconsequential? So he probably paid somebody to run his account for him. Unbelievable, man. What a clown. It's very frustrating. Just be honest, bro. Just be honest. Very, very bizarre litmus test to fail. Zionism is a bigger threat to the First Amendment than Sharia law ever is. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Not really afraid of Sharia law here in America. But Jewish supremacy, anti-Semitism laws, I'm seeing a lot more of that when I see all these Jews calling for the end of the First Amendment because of anti-Semitism. Is this recent?
This is Karate Man. Double leg. The jump kick. The side kick. The roundhouse. The tie kick. Body.
You better be nice to Israel or else. Hey, stop bullying Israel. Stop bullying Jews. Or you're gonna get an uppercut. Okay, bro. Yeah. We're in the age of anti-Semitic goy slop. So true, man. People just, oh man. There is truth. There is truth to the low IQ anti-Semitism claim. There is not everyone that's anti-Semitic is high IQ. There's truth to that. This was bound to happen as it goes mainstream. It is just like, yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. Dude, fucking communists, man. Communists are so pathetic. The ACP. Don't forget, this guy's like 5'5". This manlet Hazaldin, and he's got a lazy eye. Sorry, if you have a lazy eye, that's kind of disqualifying, man. Anyway. If you got from YouTube today for hateful conduct, you would know why I got banned. I don't know why I got banned either. I could say something completely true and somebody else say it's hateful. Yeah. You're just hearing that for the first time? Like, yeah, are you surprised? Like, yeah, you could say something obvious, like, even like conservative slop, you know, rhetoric, like, there are only two genders, and they'll call that hateful rhetoric. Like, yeah, it's, you know, been going on for a while. Ben Shapiro doesn't say the facts don't care about your feelings anymore. What's his new catchphrase? Does he even have a catchphrase? Who's keeping up with Benjamin Shapiro? Who's doing that? Is he getting a lot of views? Let's investigate.
Minneapolis protesters.
7 million subs, by the way. Oh, this one got a lot of views. That one blew up. Oh, these are his shows. These are his full shows, that's why. Does he not just do, like, lives? That's weird. I guess he doesn't do live streams. That way he can't, like, edit shit out. I guess he still gets good views, huh? What about... I don't even care. I'm not gonna, like, pocket watch like that. I don't think he said that anymore. Ben used to say it all the time. I heard he is hemorrhaging subscribers. I think so. I'm subscribed to Ben Shapiro, but I never watch his videos anymore. Hit that unsub as a tiny little F you. Say, fuck you, Ben Shapiro. I'm unsubscribed. That'll show him. That'll show him. Yeah, we don't like Hezbollah over here. We say no to Hezbollah. We say no. We say no to Zionism. N-O. Yeah, everyone's commenting on this. Anyway, we should catch up with Telegram. Yeah. There's no moral equivalence, and to say this is partnership obfuscates the truth. These people want your kids to have their genitals cut off. They want criminals loose in the country. They want open borders. This woman wasn't shot in a traffic stop. She was there with her wife, which is crazy, to harass and impede federal immigration enforcement. You can see the look in her and her girlfriend's eyes. They are typical liberal bitches who never faced any accountability. They are so bold because they are used to getting their way in the society. That has to end. If they miscalculate, then good riddance. Just dropping a truth nuke on us. Just dropping trooks. Just dropping trooks. It is probably in bad taste to celebrate, technically, but to be pouring out sympathy for this woman shows you are lost in sauce. We are in a war for our country. Get a fucking grip. So true. So true. Our country's being invaded. Trump was elected to kick them out, and some pumpkin-headed bitch is using her car, a lethal weapon, to exercise a veto over federal immigration law, the popular mandate, and the president. She was told to leave the car and tried to speed away, hitting an ICE officer in the process. This is a game, actually. She was in the wrong, and she paid with her life. Too bad. So true, King. That is actually what is going to happen when the decent people of the country lay down the law. At some point, the rubber meets the road. In Minnesota, it was uncovered that these foreigners who shouldn't even be here are scamming the taxpayer out of millions of dollars. It is just and reasonable to get these people out of our country. This idiot bitch went out to jump in front of the police out of sympathy for the foreigners. There's no moral equivalency here. Congratulations to George Floyd on the 1-month sniz free. Nothing I disagree with there. His new phrase is, every morning we decide, lion or scavenger. What the fuck? What? Is that real? Do I like the subscribers only mode? Do I have subscribers only mode on? Do I? There's a lot of comments on moderation. I don't have any moderation on. We go through this every stream. Why does it do this? Hang on. Okay. Why does it do this? It says anyone can comment. What the fuck? Let me see what this looks like. Let me see what this fucking looks like if I go to like a private window, so I'm locked out. Channel, what does this look like? I'm locked out. Channel, what does this look like? I'm locked out. How the fuck? What does this look like? Dude, I'm gonna fucking lose it. Why does it do this? Why? Why does it do this? I'm gonna fucking... Oh, I'm gonna fucking lose it. Dude, okay, 1 second. Let me figure this out. have to wait a few minutes before you can never post a comment. Pop signal illuminates this guy. What the fuck? Dude. Are you you're subscribed, right? But why? YouTube. Okay, I'm gonna fucking just strangle. You get a good trick. Dude, why? Like, this is like really fucking ass. Why? Yeah. There we go. How does that happen? Ugh! In what world? I never turn that shit on. I never turn that shit on. I wonder if it happened because YouTube was giving me problems. Like, I had to like re-verify. I wonder if they restricted my access. That's probably what they did, actually, now that I think about it. Thought maybe you were getting raided by trolls or something. I think YouTube did that. If you didn't turn it on, how did it happen? I was getting like problems with you. I had to like, they restricted some of my features like a week or two ago. I had to like verify my account. And I wonder if that happened. If somewhere along the way it turned that setting on by default because I don't know. Wow, that's fucking annoying. Yeah, please tell me if that ever happens again. Please let me know immediately. Like, was it there yesterday? Smelly, was it here yesterday? It's been for a few months. And nobody fucking told me it was on subscribers only? You guys just fucking sat there every day and nobody fucking said anything? Are you kidding me right now? Nobody thought to say anything. What? I thought we solved this problem. I thought we solved this problem. Oh, dude, I'm crashing out. I'm crashing the fuck out. I'm crashing out. Whoa. Holy shit. Oh, okay. I thought we solved the problem before. Because I at no point did I ever deliberately turn on like, why would I do that? At no point did I ever turn on subscribers only mode. It must have, YouTube must have done that or something. I swear. It might have something to do because like every once in a while I'll get like copyright issues if I watch a clip or I listen to copyrighted music. Oh, fuck, dude. It's like you guys don't see like the UI on my end. It's pretty dog shit. The YouTube UI for live streaming is ass. It's very rigid. Things are buried in a lot of different menus. It's trash. It was stupid. But it makes sense. Subscribe to the channel, then you can comment. I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I'd be at 100K by now. Don't gaslight me. Don't fucking gaslight me. I actually don't know if it really hurt me at all. Because it's only for the live streams, like the live chat, right? Actually, now I think about it, would it be better to have subscribers only chat? Hang on. Maybe it's actually a better thing to have sub only chat. I've got 2 strikes in Discord in the last week. I've been on Discord for over 3 years and never got any strikes before. You could get Zeb, but then he ankle bites Nick all the time. Oh, man. Fuck, man. Yeah, I actually don't know if it really makes that big of a difference. Having sub-only mode in the live chat. I actually don't know. Let me do a quick search actually. Let me see what ChatGPT says about this. restart the show? Is it still bugged? Is it still cooked? So sub-only mode, here's a clean breakdown. Sub-only mode, sub-only chat, actually, what sub-only chat actually affects. Subscribers only mode does not affect YouTube recommendations, browse/suggested/search rankings, click-through rate, watch time, concurrent viewers, VOD performance after the stream. In other words, the algorithm doesn't penalize you for using it. Less instant engagement from new viewers. That makes sense. Can't chat immediately. Some will lurk. Subscribe to chat, which is good. And some will leave, which is bad. Coping the boulder uphill. Well, with coping, it's pretty big unforced error. I don't know if it's that big of a deal, honestly. Taking it out of... Oh, it's alright. So should I restart the stream then? Should I do that? Maybe I'll do that. Oh. Oh. I don't know. Pretend like nothing happened, like Rudyard. Ah, dude. Pretend like nothing happened, like Rudyard. Ah, dude. Let me close this. Yeah, I actually don't think it makes a big deal, to be honest. Other than like, maybe I should just. Okay. Okay. I guess I will just... I'm just gonna restart the stream. I'll come back. I'll come back in like 5 minutes. I'll be right back. You can leave it on if you want to. It's just asking. Yeah, let me just restart this stream. No, I'll fucking leave it on. Whatever. I mean, I'll leave the stream on. Actually, I have it right here. Hey guys, hey, what's going on? Welcome to the Mellow Show. We're live. Whoa. Come in, everyone. We just went live. We just went live. How's everybody doing tonight? How's everybody doing tonight? Hope you guys are doing great. Yeah, big show. Big show. Lots to talk about, lots to get into. Yeah, I actually don't think it matters that much, the subscribers only. It might actually be better. It might actually be better. Maybe I'll have fewer spurs, right? I don't know. Channel's already pushed to the bottom of YouTube due to the algorithm. I'm sure it's already helped, but not that much. Your may have held you back or not much. Yeah, I don't really think it did, honestly, that much. The big problem, or I guess hurdle, when it comes to the algorithm, is like just making more content. And that's what I'm trying to do with like uploads and all that. So go watch my video. So you love the positivity. Some might call it cope. Me, I call it vision. Ridiculous, it's ball time. That's kick. I can see what can be unburdened by what has been. So true. Whoever said that was a genius. Whoever said that. Whoever came up with that quote. We must be unburdened by what has been. So wise. Yeah, he shot her in the face and then called her a bitch. I hope that's so inspirational. If only we could all have that much aura. Shoot a crazy bitch in the face that tried to kill you, and then as as her dead body is accelerating into a pole, you call her a bitch on the way out. Like that's aura. That's aura right there. You shoot a bitch in the face that tried to kill you. Yeah, that's a W. That's a W, actually. Yeah, all that's gold. It doesn't glitter. Yeah, great show for you tonight. Great show. Big show. How many viewers does it say I have right now? Is this bugged? I don't even know. Anyway. Anywho. Yes, it says one. Well, there's at least two of you, right? Three with SSB? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. The stream's cooked. The stream's fucking cooked already. It's whatever. It's cooked. We're here. Anyway. I didn't really have like a major plan today anyway. Now what is this? This is Halo? That's pretty sick. Something blocked. Fuck. No, don't do it. Oh no. Yeah, whatever. We're here. We're hanging out. It's Casual Friday. We'll make some casual oopsies. Whatever, dude. Yeah, that's a mod for the Master Chief Collection. I will say, I've been saying this for years. I will continue to say this. The best thing that you can do as a game dev is give the players the ability to make their own fun. And that typically comes in the form of like modding tools, you know? That will keep your game alive for years. If you have a proper set of modding tools and it's accessible and you work with the community, that's how you get Skyrim. That's how you get Skyrim. That's how you get games like Stalker. That's how you get which I've been playing Stalker 2. Come a long way. It launched, it was kind of in a messy state, but it's a great game. Anyway. Yeah, bruh. This is blackpilling. This is blackpilling, huh? 7.5 million. Ugh. That's crazy. Fortnite already has a Nicolas Maduro in dance. That's pretty based. Ugh. What is this? Justin reported cyber attack takes Oncology Journal offline that published a peer-reviewed study from Tufts and Brown University, exploring links of COVID injections to newly diagnosed or rapidly worsened cancer shortly after COVID injections. Well, that's not good. Cancer diagnosis. Researchers reviewed 69 studies worldwide, identifying 332 cases where cancer was diagnosed or worsened shortly after injection. However, they stressed that no direct causal connection has been empirically established. Many of the cases involved tumors growing near the injection sites in the arm, but the study could not definitively say the mRNA injections caused cancer. Shortly after the study's release, OncoTarget's website was hit by a cyber attack, rendering it inaccessible. Highlighted concerns about censorship and medical research because of the attack. Freedom of the press is protected on the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, but censorship is alive and well in the U.S. and has come into medicine in a big, awful way. The future is bleak if weaponized censorship in medicine continues to suppress any narratives that stand up to pharma that expose inconvenient or suppressed truth. Yeah, Fortnite too. Most blue-haired commies have taken the injection. Yeah, true. So they're kind of cooked. True blood here. True blood. Silence, a true blood is speaking. A true blood. A non-mutant speaking. Yeah. It's, I'm gonna put that in the live chat. Is that better? Yeah, unlucky, man. This is something that's been talked about for a while. The cyber attack is concerning. I have suspicions it's not coincidental given the timing. I'm gonna bookmark this for later. Where is it? Yeah. A little suspicious. What else is really to say? Late, but have a good 2026, man. Hope we survive it. Yeah, what's up? How's it going, KFT? Or KF. Sorry, not KFT. It's a 1. Yeah, man. I hope you have a good 2026 too. I hope we don't have, like, you know, nuclear Armageddon. Who knows, man? Fuck it, we ball. Am I right? Fuck it, we ball. Subscriber only mode is off, so that's good, I guess. Yeah, dude, I seriously think that I don't know. I don't recall turning that on ever. But I don't know. Maybe it hurt the channel, maybe it didn't. There's no way to really know. It probably really didn't do much, to be honest. Let me cope, damn it, okay? Let me cope. Okay? Don't fight me on this. Just agree with me. Say yes, Mello. You're right, Mello. Just join in on the cope, okay? No, but like seriously, it probably didn't hurt me much, if at all. Maybe I'm wrong, but what's hurting me is not going live. What's hurting me is not uploading more content. That's what's hurting me, but I have to stop bitching about that. I really do. Anyway. Bro. Imagine you're standing on the sidewalk waiting for an Uber and a fucking lithium-ion battery just takes you out. Just imagine somebody pulls up and drives by with a fucking slab of metal that takes out your ankle. You know? BYD sends their regards. That's crazy. And then it's same homies, true. Poor member of the team, oh, 07. Making me feel good. How much network television do I watch? Network television? None, practically. I don't really watch TV, to be honest. I'll watch a few shows every once in a while. But yeah, I don't really watch TV. Especially not network. It's all like, it's just like slop, to be honest. Like every once in a while, it's like, I guess useful to see like what they're talking about. Get a good little litmus test, little, you know, test the water, see, you know, see what they're putting out, what the normie experience is. But other than that, it's just like, it's just garbage. Incoming NJF tweets. What did he tweet? I don't see anything. I don't watch any, but Fox News is always on in my grandparents' house, and you're there every day. Damn. You got to put on America First with Nicholas J. Fuentes one day for your grandparents. You should ask Nick if you know, what the best way to red pill your grandparents. You know, what the best strategy is. You can send a super chat. I'm sure he has some good insight. I don't watch any. Oh, I read that. What was the last television show you like to tune in and watch? Over the holiday season, I watched like a few episodes of Severance. That was pretty good. That was pretty interesting. I want to see where that goes. What else? What else was I watching? I watched a few episodes of the Halo show. You know, I grew up playing the games. You know, it's not great, but it's cool that it's Halo. But it's like not really stellar. Not a great representation of the IP. I watched one episode of Fallout. That was pretty trash. Yeah. There's only like so much of like the like Zog flop that you can really put up with nowadays anyway. Watch one episode of Fallout, you'll know exactly what I mean. It's just like, you just, once you see it, you can't unsee it. And, you know, I try to enjoy things like I do, even if it's like total like gay liberal propaganda or something. I try to find things to enjoy. I don't want to be like a seething, you know, contrarian. Oh, I don't like that because that's what it's like. You know, you can find things to appreciate, but straight up, that show is trash. Like the writing is awful. The characters are terrible, uninteresting. The dialogue is nauseating. There's a type of humor. There's a type of like, writing style that is like very like, it's millennial coded, and it's like art ho coded as well. Everything is sardonic. I've talked about this before, and it's really just uncompelling. So I don't recommend the Fallout show. And if you're a fan of Fallout, then it's just not faithful to the IP at all. Terrible. Used to watch Seinfeld back in the day. That's another one of like, when you talk about like, you know, JQ propaganda, like that was a big one. Seinfeld and Friends just like convinced a generation of like women to just be hoes, you know. But yeah, I mean, Seinfeld's okay. I went through a phase of like watching a bunch of like clips and segments on YouTube. Same thing with like Family Guy. You know, you just go down that rabbit hole and you just don't like watch a lot of those clips. As a show, it's not like terrible. But I think Costanza was like best character in that show. You showed your grandma Nick's show, but she said his voice was annoying. Last show I remember watching when it came to was The Mandalorian, when it came out. Yeah, I watched Mandalorian. It was okay. My parents are boomers, and they like to watch Fox News all the time, so they're much more neocons than I am. Yeah, you're just not gonna red pill boomers. You're just not. If they watch Fox News or like any of that, it's like, it's kind of over for them. Yeah, I don't know. Like, what else can you really say? You know, what else can you really say about that? It's just, if you're still watching Fox News like uncritically in this day and age, like, you're just cooked. And it's like, you're just arguing with the TV. You're just arguing with like just nonsense. Too old to begin the training, Yoda? Yeah, pretty much. I don't know. A lot of like Gen Xers got red pilled, you know? Like my dad is like totally red pilled, you know, and everything. But he was always kind of red pilled, I guess. In a sense. I remember like when I was in grade school, you know, he would complain every time, like it's like, it's Holocaust week again, you know? Because, you know, my grandpa, his dad, would talk about how much of a hoax the Holocaust was. Like, he talked about how, this my grandpa, he served in the Navy during the Cold War, and he had a buddy that was a merchant marine during World War II, and he said that every time these ships went out to Europe, the European front, they would come back filled with Jews, filled. And a lot of these neighborhoods overnight in like Illinois and New York just popped up out of nowhere, a lot of these Jewish neighborhoods. So I guess it was always red pilled to some degree. But yeah. I guess like if you don't have that sort of like, what would you call it? This sort of this like intrigue, if you don't have this like insight, or if the seed isn't planted early on, be like constantly like a sort of self-awareness, but you're constantly asking questions and you have a genuine interest in how things work and what the truth is, like, I just don't think you're gonna make it. You know, I think it has to come early on. You have to. So this is really important, and I'm not a parent, but one of the things I think was really good for my upbringing was on the car ride to school every day when I was in grade school, I would just ask my dad all kinds of questions and he would answer them. You know, he would like field my questions seriously. He wouldn't dismiss them by saying like, God, don't worry about that. But I would ask questions about like the universe, about like physics, about like politics and stuff. And he would do his best to answer my questions. So it's really important to foster intellectual curiosity at a young age. And if you don't have that, then it's unlikely you're going to develop that later on in life. And so I think that's very important for your development. And so I think like when I look at my dad, it's like that was probably a very important element in his upbringing, having a sort of contradictory, what would you say, like a worldview or a like, you know, some piece of evidence or an experience that contradicted the official narrative that made him ask questions. I think that's really important for people, because if you don't get to that point in life, like you don't want the first time, like you're forced to ask questions and like challenge a consensus. You don't want that to happen later in life. You want that to happen early on in life, because that's going to be like a new experience. And it's a new experience for a lot of people and they don't know how to handle it. Like me, I grew up in a mostly like overwhelmingly blue liberal area. And I was like one of the few like right wingers in my school and in my neighborhood. So I was constantly like, it like gave me a self-awareness and an introspection that I don't think you get by just riding the consensus. Because I had to defend my position. I had to understand my position. I also had to understand their position in order to know why I'm right and they're wrong, or if I'm right at all. And I think that was really good for my development. And that doesn't mean just be a contrarian, but it does mean that like, you need to have that curiosity, and it's overwhelmingly, I think, undeniably better to have it to gain that at a young age than when you're older. So a lot of boomers never had to deal with that because, you know, they never really encountered contrary narratives. It was just, you know, we watch a TV and why would the TV lie to us, you know? And they went through life unquestioningly the entire time, and their brain crystallizes, and it's difficult for them to develop that new skill. And then it just becomes personal. Like, I don't want to be lied to. I don't like being lied to, and I don't like, you know, buying false narratives. That makes me feel like a fool. You know, buying into like these lies that they tell you. They're pulling a fast one on you. It's personal. You know, who wants to be lied to or like instrumentalized or anything like that by all of these grifters and subversives? You know, because there's a period in time where I was defending, you know, GWAT and all of that, the war on terror. And looking back, like, I am resentful about that. You know, like, they instrumentalized me and a lot of people, for that matter. And I don't ever want to let that happen again. So it's like arguing with the TV. It's exactly like that. Yeah. The Seinfeld was from the 90s, so you're probably not even born. Yeah, no, I wasn't. But, you know, my grandma would always watch Seinfeld. So I watched a lot of, like, reruns growing up. You like to watch Sopranos back in the day on HBO? I started watching it. Yeah, I started watching that, too, over the holidays. Good show. Yeah, I definitely need to watch that. Yeah, Based Family. Yeah, very true. You heard Rochester, New York opposed bringing in the moose, and FDR dumped an extra load of moose after the war. Yeah, I mean, look, throughout pretty much the entirety of America's history, people have been against immigration. Like, that's, like, pick any point in history, and most, like, 90% of people were just against immigration. So it's never been a popular thing. Your dad didn't want you asking him questions? Yeah, that's rough. I was the only kid in your that favored the South in the Civil War. Well, I understand the South, and I sympathize with like Robert E. Lee. I actually think that's something very noble, because he, ideologically he aligned more with the North, but he answered the call for his homeland of Virginia to defend the South. I think that's actually very admirable. I think it's an honorable thing to do, and I think he was an honorable man. And it's a shame that, they're tearing down statues of him because, he fought for the Confederacy. But no, I'm still a Union guy. I think that maintaining the Union is very important. I am, I'm from the North. I guess that makes me a Yankee, but yeah, I think maintaining the Union was paramount. Would we have ever become an empire if America was segmented into two countries? I doubt it. So, yeah. So, there are parts I obviously sympathize with the South on, but no, I'm in favor of the Union. I'm in favor of the American Empire. So. Don't you love it when these American communists LARP? We've seen what they look like, bro. You like to watch Dexter when it was on? Dude, I just hear what is like the fucking Dexter's theme song? Is this it? No, it's not. It's not it. What am I thinking of? What is that? Hang on. What is the audio track they play whenever they show the sergeant, looking suspicious? What is that theme song? Yeah, this. I have this ingrained in my brain. France and England were getting ready to carve us up if the North lost the war. Russia helped out the North. Okay, copyright time. Yeah, maybe it's not a good idea to do that. Definitely Confederate guy. I think the Union was more anti-white. Yeah, I mean, in a sense, you could say that, but I think it's bigger than that. It's about a unified America. I don't like. It's not a good thing that America experienced a civil war. A lot of people died. A lot of Americans died, and that's a weaker country. And if you're an American, you want America to be powerful. And if your country experiences a civil war, it's in a weaker state. And I do think we would have gotten eaten up by foreign interests if that happened. And I don't think America would look the same at all. I do think it was imperative, and it was like a prerequisite for America becoming more powerful. I don't think that, like, if the Confederacy won, it would have been better, like, for white people. I don't really see how that's necessarily true. I think it actually would have been worse, having a more divided America. Because look at what a divided Europe experienced and how that was like a vector of subversion. I think it's bigger than just like maybe the rhetoric. Because there were a lot of Jews in the South, man, and the slave trade was heavily influenced by Jews. I know you guys probably already know this already, but it was something like 70 to 90% of the slave ships, the transatlantic slave trade, was owned by Jews. And it was so popular among Jews that if an auction landed on the Sabbath, it would likely be canceled because nobody would show up. So yeah, this I don't think in reality the Confederacy was like that would have been the answer to all of the problems we're facing today. I don't think that's the inflection point at all. So the South was winning the war as far as casualties goes. The South ran out of ammunition though. Just it takes the next theme song every time that came on. Do you think some states could leave the Union? Like right now? Like some states right now could leave the Union? I don't think that solves our problem because, you know, the Union also had the industrial base. The South was far more agricultural, but most of the industry, you know, the steel manufacturing, you know, was heavily in the North. You know, that's one of the reasons why the South lost the war. Yeah, I just, but some states leave the Union. Well, yeah, again, like, do you mean right now? Could some states leave the Union? I don't think they would ever be allowed to leave the Union. Talked to a lot of, I have a feeling, I hope I'm wrong, but I think the Democrats are going to clean house in the midterms. I've talked to a lot of Mexican Americans on social media, and they're all hating Trump now. I don't really care, to be honest. If the Republicans lose, that's on them. They did a bad job. They're not. Where are the mass deportations? Why aren't they cracking down on the Democrats that are allowing all of this insurrectionist behavior persist? Why isn't Tim Walz being perp blocked? Seriously. So the Republican Party is weak. The Trump admin is weak. And this is what happens when you're weak. You enable more of this kind of behavior. So, but, yeah, we're just not even getting mass deportation. So it's really all for nothing. We're just pissing off Democrats for no reason. Minnesota should try to leave the Union and find out what happened to South Carolina. Yeah. Dems will win for a long time. Yeah, I think because it's like, dude, why would you turn out for Trump or for the GOP when they are just simply incompetent? They're unwilling to actually do what is necessary. Say what you will, but the liberals, and understand what I'm saying, the left are far more competent rulers than the right. They understand the game. They understand that they need to dismantle their political opposition. Conservatives are totally lost in the sauce. And they would rather have like rage bait people on Twitter and have segments on Fox News talk about how they're going to do something than actually do something. When Democrats get into power, they'll put all their political opposition into prison. And frankly, they feel energized by this administration because that's all Trump is really doing is pissing off all the liberals, but he's not actually cracking down. So they're going to be galvanized. They're going to call for like conservatives to get arrested or for more censorship, whatever, because Trump is doing nothing to crack down on these people. Doing nothing like this liberal that got shot in the fucking face. Like, how embarrassing is it that this is even happening? Why isn't the federal government cracking down on Minnesota? Sending in thousands of federal agents to arrest all of these provocateurs in government and on the streets. How is it that like Jacob Frey, the mayor, can just say like, can just essentially incite insurrection and nothing bad happens to him? Same with Tim Walz, just tells ICE to get the fuck out and that they're not going to cooperate and encouraging people not to cooperate with the federal government. It makes the Trump admin look like a bunch of fucking bitches. You think Abraham Lincoln would have put up with that shit? He would have sent in the troops and he would have cracked some fucking skulls. You know, the South, and that's like the red pill, I guess, is like the South likes to complain, oh, Abraham Lincoln was a tyrant. It's like, yeah. And he fucking won. What's the lesson there? He won. So, You know, when you take power, you have to use it. Otherwise, just like the result will be twice as bad if you just half-ass it. Because then you're not actually doing anything that benefits us. You're just emboldening our opposition to use the power when they get it. So look, as far as I'm concerned, man, we can complain about these Somalians. We can complain about these woke liberal retards in the streets. But like, who's the fucking president? You see what they can do when they're serious. You see how efficient and professional they can be when it comes to toppling the Maduro regime. But when it comes to like cleaning up our own streets, it's like, yeah, we're just not seeing the numbers, man. And so, yeah, I think like Democrats, who knows? Maybe they'll impeach him. Maybe they'll throw Trump into prison. And it's like, look, man, if that happens, you had it coming. You could have done something to prevent it. But yeah. I think it would have been good. The people in the South could stay white and the people in the North could be as non-white as they love to be. Segregation is good, actually. You're stating facts about slavery. You could get banned, hateful conduct. Yeah, I don't think people should be forced to desegregate. I think people have a right to assembly. So, yeah, like, obviously I'm not in favor of everything that's transpired, but I'm an imperialist. You know, like what would have happened to America? Like would we have become a superpower if it weren't for the Union remaining intact? I don't think it would have happened. And we probably would have seen more wars as a result, as a balance of power. So I do think it was a good thing that the Union was maintained. We just need like patriots to control the Union. That's all it comes down to. About who runs the show. So Trump caught lightning in the bottle and sold it to the Jays. Yeah, I think it was always sold out, to be honest. Matter of fact, I was talking to another guy in Discord that got banned, and it said he got banned for talking about the small hats. Oh, I'm shocked. I'm shocked that happened. Trump could turn it around, give us mass deportations and something like end income tax. He will win in a landslide. Yeah, he could. I mean, he could turn it around. And like when has there ever been a better time to do it than now? Like, seriously. Like, this Somalian fraud expose has given them the pretext required to go in and like just clean house. If not now, then when exactly? So that's what I'm saying. It's like they're just not serious, and I will accept nothing less than results. I don't want to hear about what they're thinking of doing or what they're planning on doing, what they want to do. I want to see them actually do it. And until then, like, just like wake me up. I'm tired of getting rage baited by these stories on Twitter. Look at how crazy these liberal women are. It's like, yeah, we know. We've been in the know for a long time now. Now, what are you going to do about it? Like, who's going to win? ICE? A bunch of like armed federal agents, or like a bunch of fat lesbians? Who's going to win that duel exactly? Can you imagine losing to a bunch of fat lesbians? Like, seriously. And that's what's happening. Look at how outrageous it is. Well, what are you going to do about it? Don't tell me. But that's where we are, man. No taxation without remigration. The South went out of ammunition and shoes even. Maybe the Republican Party is intentionally punting the ball to the Democrats now. Yeah, I mean, it's something like that, you know, uniparty and all that. But I don't think it's that cut and dry, because there are people obviously in the Republican Party that still want to win, you know? They're just beholden to certain interests that like don't want to see mass deportations, that don't want to see an end to the visa program. And those interests are the ones funding the campaigns. So It's not so much like it's that orchestrated, like Trump's going to like Pelosi and saying like, all right, it's your turn now. You know, we're turning the keys over to the Democrats. Like, it's not really like that. At least not for most of these politicians. It's more so they're just beholden to these interest groups. They're, in many cases, they're blackmailed. It's not so much like, you know, Trump and like Schumer are like meeting every night, cracking open beers and laughing about how they're duping everybody. It's not. I don't think it's really like that. But the end result is kind of the same. So, Abraham Lincoln even ignored the Supreme Court. He told Chief Justice Taney, "Yes, you have the law, but I have the army." That's pretty based. That's pretty fucking based. Yeah, that's what Trump needs to say to Chief Justice Roberts. Yeah, that's like we all want our supreme leader that's going to set the record straight. That's going to set everything straight, clean everything up. But it means you got to be that guy. You got to be supreme ruler material. You're not going to listen to people that are beneath you. You're not going to, you know, it's just, you either get it or you don't. One day you'll think to yourself, fuck all this, KF 14116 was right, and the chemtrails is the most pressing issue. Nah, I don't think the chemtrails are... No, I think the most pressing issue is the demographic replacement. Because if we lose the people, we lose the civilization. Everything that we have proceeds from our people. So if that goes away, then it's all done. It's all cooked. Everything else is downstream of that. I think we just need to bow down to our communist Jewish overlords, which is basically futile. That's why I say the Democrats are super energized and the Republicans are demoralized by Zionism first. They're demoralized just by, if anything, by the incompetence. Like, the Zionism is just like the icing on top, I guess. It's just, it makes it so much more obvious what's going on. When Israel gets everything they want, but we can't even get what is a reasonable, 3 million, 4 million deportations a year? Like, what are we doing? I don't even think we hit 1 million last year. I think it was like 900K. Like, that's pathetic. Lincoln wanted to send the blacks to Africa. He set up Liberia with our constitution, but Lincoln got shot. Yeah. That is true. People forget about that. People think like Lincoln was like not... He was some kind of like anti-racist or something. Like, imagine that. Imagine if, like, you know, slavery's ended and then all the free slaves are sent to Liberia. You know? And people love to talk about how the South was... Yeah, I mean, like, you want to talk about remigration, I guess Lincoln would have been the biggest proponent of that, but you can't really do that if you're, you know, if you can't really accomplish that if you don't have authority to, if you don't have control over that part of the country. But yeah, then he got killed. So, like, who really hurt the white race? It was, I think the South is actually more guilty of that. The Democrats could pick Nick Fuentes could put Nick Fuentes in prison when they get in power. Trump talks about using the power, but it will take the Democrats to actually commit to it. It really seems like Trump is just putting on an elaborate dog and pony show. Yeah, I mean, he is. Look, I don't even think the Democrats would put Nick into prison. I think it's just... we'll see. It could happen, though. And, like, what is Trump doing to secure our free speech, exactly? Because all I'm seeing is, like, kowtowing to, like, these interest groups that are calling for censorship because of anti-Semitism. So, Anyway. Yeah, this, maybe we could talk, maybe I'll save this for tomorrow though. Going on in Argentina's kind of interesting. Apparently they caught these two Israelis with Israeli-made incendiary grenades. And it implies that they intentionally started these wildfires in Argentina, burning down large parts of Patagonia. So maybe I'll talk about this tomorrow. I don't know if I want to talk about this tonight, but very interesting stuff. What are we feeling? What are we feeling tonight? What are we feeling like? What do we feel like covering? I don't think America could ever truly be great when it's a subordinate vassal of Israel. Yeah, that's kind of the thrust of America First, right? Is that you can't put America first if you're Israel first. So it's by nature a contradiction to America First. Jays would burn down a huge forest. Seems like they are awfully disrespectful towards the ecosystem the air we breathe. Yes, the chemtrails. Yes, the chemtrails. Yes. Look. Yeah, they have weather weapons. They're developing certain seeds that can grow in aluminum-rich soil. But, you know, that's not the thrust. Like, that's downstream of the seat of power. And understand, like, just say this out loud. Okay? And just... Does this not sound crazy? The Jews are spraying shit in the fucking sky to poison us. Pause. Pause for 2 seconds and try to convince a room of normal people. You know what I'm saying? Just time out. Time out for a second. Time out. Time out. People are gonna look at you like this guy is fucking crazy. So maybe not the best messaging. Yeah, we should be concerned about stuff that gets sprayed into the atmosphere, but there's a lot of bad stuff happening to us. And it's downstream of the bigger problem. So if you address the bigger problem and you simply say, we are not a sovereign people in a sovereign country, and if you solve that problem, all these other problems will also be solved by a simple change of leadership. So... And I think a lot of that stuff is also overblown. Like, I don't think, like, commercial... Like, when you see a commercial flight flying over your head and you see, like, vapor trails, those likely are not chemtrails. It's vapor due to the temperature and the altitude of which they're flying. And the pressure differential causes vapor to come out from the exhaust of these planes. And it's more pronounced the higher you go. But there were vapor trails, people saw vapor trails in like World War II. But since we have better plane technology, planes are able to fly higher, lower temperatures, thinner atmosphere, and so it makes the vapor more pronounced. And a lot of people conflate that with, well, more vapor trails, more chemtrails, but that's false equivalency. So, yeah, I think maybe there's something going on there, but I don't put a lot of stock into all of that. So, like, I would be more concerned about, like, I mean, there's like problems with like heavy pesticide usage and how that's killing a lot of bugs and the effect that can have on the ecosystem. You know, or a lot of the EMF radiation from, like, you know, your Wi-Fi and 5G, and I know that's like sounds a little kooky, but it's true. It's just radiation. You know, we are experiencing heavier doses of ambient radiation. and that has adverse health effects. You know, and this is known. You could read Wired magazine articles about it. You know, having a cell phone in your pocket can kill your sperm count and cause testicular cancer. Stuff like that. It's documented, scientific, not. But anyway, the people are retarded. You need to keep opposition to moves simple. You sound like Candace. People will think you're crazy. Yeah, and that's a big problem. Like I said, there might be something with the chemtrails going on. They have weather weapons. They have stuff out there that you can induce inclement weather with cloud seeding. That's a real thing. That's a real technology. But you don't have to go that deep. When you go too deep in the weeds, it's like it really hurts the thrust of your messaging. You don't have to go that deep, and it actually, I think, hurts your case if you're going to get super autistic about it. Like when we talk about 9/11, people have all these theories. It's directed energy weapons. They're holograms. Look, I've got my own theory on how they did it, but the big takeaway is, you know, keep it big picture. Who benefited from 9/11 the most? Israel. And you know, the cheering, the dancing Israelis. And so you don't need to go too technical and schizophrenic, because that also opens you up to greater scrutiny. And you're sticking your neck out for something that is not maybe 100% verifiable. And so do you really want to stake your reputation on like a very specific thing about how they accomplished 9/11? Or was it better to keep it more general and deal in the realm of probabilities, and to not entertain maybe some of the less credible or less likely explanations, because it's not worth the hit to your reputation. You have to prioritize. You know, I don't rule out anything on its face, but I try to deal in the realm of probability. What is most likely, and I'll go with that. So I'll hear anybody out, but it takes a bit of convincing to get me on board. I think you need to have a high degree of openness, but a high degree of disagreeableness too. Yeah. Thoughts on 6G? I don't know much about 6G. I imagine it's only going to be higher radiation. Yeah, I mean, there are adverse health effects. I mean, you go look at like a 5G tower, there, you know, you can see in many of these cases, like the grass around it doesn't look too healthy. So we're on the same path we will always have been on. Democrats get elected, put Zionism first. People get angry. People vote for Republican change. Republicans put Zionism. People get angry. People vote for Democrats again. Stop cooning. Use a magazine, not a phone. What we talk? What? We already have the motion on the moves thanks to October 7th. Why complicate it? Genocide is indefensible. Why look for Frankist chemtrails and other complex theories? Yeah, that just, you know, that really hurts the messaging, you know, to really go with these sort of low probability theories. It's one thing if that's like your thing. But I find the way a lot of people are going about their investigations just not rigorous at all. It's like you really need to do a lot of due diligence when you dive into some of these theories. And I see a lot of careless actors, I'll say that. And so if you get disproven on, like, if you believe in the JQ and you also believe in, like, I don't know, some other theory, let's take reptilian overlords, and you get debunked on reptilian overlords because you bought into, like, some evidence that was debunked, that hurts your credibility, and as a result, you know, through the transitive property, you're also hurting people that are red-pilled on the JQ. That's why people like Candace are just such a detriment to what we're trying to do here. It's just like, and yeah, I want nothing to do with that psycho bitch. So, only cool thing about old corn magazines are the old car ads. What are we talking about? Porno mags? What the fuck? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? I've never fretted about chemtrails, to be honest. All I've ever really saw was contrails. The worst is the guys who think men and women and draw triangles on Obama face. Oh yeah. Yeah, look at this triangle. Doesn't Michelle Obama look like a man? I just don't. Like, we all like to laugh on look, and who doesn't love a good conspiracy theory? And I think that's a big part of the problem is it's been turned into entertainment. But the consequences, the stakes are just too high to fuck around like that on a lot of this stuff. It's not really entertainment. We're talking about reality. We're talking about the direction of our future in politics as Americans. So, who doesn't love to entertain a good conspiracy theory? But it's like there's a time and place, and I just think we have momentum, we have motion. Let's not squander it. So. You just got welcome, Compa. Welcome. Look who look who decides to weigh in, and it's predictable, very predictable. So. So. Ah, shit. Damn. That sucks. Damn, rest in peace, Christine. Rest in peace. I think Christine from Ohio passed away. Damn. That's a bummer. That sucks. That really sucks. Oh, that really sucks. Fuck. Yeah. Oh, that really sucks. That's really awful news. Hmm. Yeah, that really sucks. Well, she was a patriot. She was a patriot, and she was a good example. You know? Truly, from what I've seen, she's truly great human being. And the movement, the country, the world is worse off in her absence. So that's really unfortunate. So make sure you say a prayer for her and her family. Yeah, that's really a bummer. She'll get the last laugh when Nick opens up the bomb she sent him. Yeah. Christine sends her regards. Yeah. Yeah. She was a kind woman. She was. She crazy. She, you know, a staple of the show, a staple of the movement. You know, it's funny. You know, she was like such a diehard Groyper and supporter of Nick. And it's like, you know, like that's what the movement's about, you know? It's not, people always say, oh, Nick hates women. Like, no, he doesn't. He loves women. And women love him. And, you know, I think Christine was such a good example of like proper virtuous femininity. Like when I think of Christine, I'm like, that's such a great example of what we're fighting for, you know? A lovely soul. And yeah, that's just, yeah, that just sucks. Nick needs to get back so the world could stop going to shit. Every time he leaves, the world turns upside down. Yeah, so true. Yeah. Who would have thought that we would be missing the Nothing Ever Happens Chud? Strange. I've never seen the two of them in the same place at the same time. It seems like every time the Nothing Ever Happens Chud disappears, so does Nick. That's weird. I've never seen them interact. That's kind of, makes you wonder. She served our country. Thank you, Christine. She did. She was a patriot, a loyal patriot. Truly, truly a great example. It's like Asmongold's mom, and then she died. Nick has old mom fans. Yeah, look, man, it's the moms that get it. The moms are you know, not to, but you see this happen. A lot of women do become more conservative when they become moms, and that it like, and obviously it's not always. It's a, you know, not there's a correlation. It's not a given, and understand there is sort of a, what would you call it, an exposure bias. Like, we on the internet are exposed to, like, the women that we're often exposed to are the ones that are like the least traditional, the least feminine, because they'll often, and this is a, you know, trend, they're often the loudest voices among women because they assert their opinions on the internet. They make their presence, and I think so sometimes we sort of lose track. Maybe it's easy to get lost in the sauce, but you know, there are good women out there, of course. You're just not going to find them typically in, you know, like shit posting on Twitter or something. Unless it's like a heated, like a mom that cares about her country and her kids in the future, you know? Yeah, like matriarchal, what would you call it? You know, something that like older women tend to have, this sort of like matriarchal wisdom that young women typically lack. Catholic moms love Nick because their sons and grandsons are returning to the church. Yeah, plus Nick brings people hope. Yeah, he does. And I think, you know, one of my favorite segments on Nick's show, he's had a lot of bangers, but one of my favorite segments was when he was talking about Christine from Ohio. And I think you really see a lot of insight into his soul, into his character. The show is the show. The show is, it's a show. It's a performance in many ways. You ham it up, but it's those sort of candid moments, genuine moments that I think are a huge testament to who Nick is and what this movement is really about. And it is pro-humanity, it's pro-God. And, the kind words that he had to say for Christine, I think really, I don't know how anyone could watch that and not be a Nick fan, not realize he's the real deal, that he's not what they say that he is, not all the terrible things that they say about him. And I think sometimes it takes sometimes, say what you will, one thing women sometimes are better than men at. They have, some women have very high EQs, and they have a very good judgment of character. Not all, but I tend to see that more in this sort of older matriarchal wisdom. You see that they also tend to be good judges of character. And I don't think it's a coincidence that there are a lot of Roiper moms out there. And that's a good thing. So. Yeah, the Democrats didn't care at all when Ashley Babbitt got shot on the January 6th, but we're supposed to really be up in arms about a lesbian that was fighting for illegals. Christine who? She was a regular super chat on Nick's show, good woman. Yeah, it's Christine from Ohio. She was a staple in AF, in America First. And she passed away to cancer. Yeah, really, really sad. Yeah, I hope Nick got a chance to try her pierogi, But yeah, reminds you of what you're fighting for, Yeah. She'll be smiling when we win, yeah. And it kind of sucks that, so often it takes a death for you to sort of refocus and remember what matters. Yeah. Call your parents, call your siblings. Just let them know you love them. And, cherish the time that you have with them. It's, if you ever have a beef or a grudge, or you get into an argument with somebody, it's one of those things where death, you don't want to be in a situation looking back, realizing how little that petty disagreement was, and regretting not spending more time with, or being closer to the people that care about you the most. So yeah, that sucks. Yeah, that sucks. It's always annoying when Twitter, after a certain period of time, and unlikes your certain tweets. Oh, 07. Yeah. That's awesome.
Christine in Ohio sent $25. It's been a while. Got really bad news. Found out Tuesday I have stage 3 pancreatic cancer.
Jeez.
Not a joke, and yes, it's really me. Food truck will be done by end of summer. I'm fighting, but 3 DRS giving same diagnosis. Out of the blue. Really scared. Please pray for me, fellow grow-wipers.
Oh my
I love you
gosh.
all. And Nick, I love you, pseudo-son. 07.
That's terrible. Well, God bless you, Christine. We'll be praying for you. Everybody, please say a prayer for Christine from Ohio tonight. That's so horrible. I'm really sorry to hear that. I mean, I get it. My parents had a sudden cancer diagnosis a couple of years ago. It's the worst thing. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. So, but, you know, you'll be all right. You're tough. Polish people are tough. They're strong. So you hang in there. You just keep eating. What do you guys eat over there? Schnitzel and all that. I think you'll be okay. We know you're a tough cookie. That's terrifying. No, I'm sorry to hear that. That's really fucked up. But God bless. I'll make sure to get out there to get to that food truck. I got to make it my mission. But we're praying for you, Christine. I'm really sorry to hear that. That's horrible. Cancer's the worst thing. I'm hoping, though, you know, part of me is holding out hope that with all this AI, there's going to be some kind of personalized medicine breakthrough that's going to make it so that, I don't know, there might be some sort of therapy or something. Keep it at bay. Because it's just devastating when you get that news. But God bless you. God bless you, Christine. Really, we're praying for you. It's horrible to hear. We're with you. Hang in there. I know you're tough. You're going to make it out. I know you're a tough cookie. Polish people are strong. They're robust. Polish people are tough. So even though I'm not the biggest fan, no, I'm kidding. We love Polish people, but they're strong. You guys are from the hills. You know, you're from the land. But that's horrible. Sorry to hear that. We're with you all the way. Everybody, every Groiper in the America First Army is putting out a prayer up to God. That's all God's plan, you know.
Gargoula sent $10. This one's for Stephen Miller.
But we love
I know
you.
that you're watching.
Ah, yeah. That's a bummer, man. Yeah, W. Pope for calling out anti-free speech laws. Well, that's kind of a bummer. I don't know. Yeah. Now, welcome back, Kumquat. Welcome back. Yeah. Minnesota? Yeah. Well, yeah. I watch my video. Watch my just watch my video. Kumquat. I uploaded a video. Everybody go like, comment, subscribe. I'll do all that. Yeah. I understand if I took the night off. Yeah. Yeah, that's just some pretty awful news, man. I don't know how to... Kind of hard to come back from that. I'm not gonna lie. You know, it is... It's a bummer, you know? And it's like... You know, like Christine, somebody I never met before. You know? But it is like... person that, you know, she was real, she existed, and was a great person. And like, you know, it's that's what we're fighting for, is it not? It's what all of this is about. So, yeah, I don't really know how to. Just feels maybe weird to, you know, try to make jokes or anything now. It's, yeah, I don't know. Just feels weird, I guess. So, yeah, I don't know. That sucks. That really sucks. Yeah. Yeah, I'll cover this tomorrow. What's going on in Argentina? So what's on my to-do list? Yeah, maybe I might make another segment about Fishback from yesterday's stream. Not sure yet. So. You liked and commented? Oh, thanks. Appreciate it. Appreciate that. What's going on in Argentina? There's huge fire going on that was reportedly set by a couple of Israelis. They found an Israeli grenade, incendiary grenade, and reportedly had 2 Israelis that were like caught as prime suspects. They're looking for them, that were in the area of the fire. Huge fire going on in Patagonia, and you know, there's suspicions that there's larger foul play going on that might be a part of like this Jewish migration plan from like the 70s that might be playing out right now, considering who Javier Milei is, and you know, his relationship to Israel and the Jewish people and all that. That there might be some foul play going on, like they're going to use this as an opportunity to migrate a bunch of Israelis in to that territory that they've wanted for a long time. So, set up more Jewish enclaves down there. They're rioting in Minnesota. Just started, has it? I guess it's the weekend, huh? Look at how many updates there are so quickly. Are there actual riots going on? Oh, that's not good. It really seems like Iran's kind of falling apart. That's kind of getting overshadowed by this other stuff going on, but there's a lot of increasing conflict in Iran right now. Maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow too. I have some catching up to do. Reports indicate that Starlink and GPS being jammed by the IRGC, making new footage from Iran nearly impossible to be sent out. Yeah, there's like a total media internet blackout in Iran right now. It's getting serious. I think they're really trying to suppress this dissent that's going on right now. That's some hotel. Where are you hearing reports of this? Is this on Twitter? In Minnesota? Maybe I'll just do a search. Yeah, it's, you know, it's so true. Like, the Minnesotans that are protesting this, it's like, you know, these Somalians stole from you, right? Imagine that. These Somalians steal from all these Minnesotans, and it's just like... And then all the Minnesotans that got robbed are now defending their robbers. It's just... So just... I don't even know. Backwards. Check raw alerts. Look at this shit, man. Can you like find a more like raped population than like the like white people that are rioting with all of these third worlders? Talk about like totally mind raped, man. Who, like, look at... What are you gonna do about Trump? Like, what are you gonna do about it, Trump? This is on Trump. You gotta do something about this, man. You're gonna let this continue? Or are you afraid that doing something will hurt Republicans in the midterms? Just like in 2020. Burning the city down again is brain dead. Yeah, I mean, these people are anti-civilization. It's like these people don't know how to build. They just steal and destroy. They get upset about something. What's their solution? They burn shit down. Like, talk about fucking retards. Talk about like low IQ scum, barbarians, savages, total freaks. They don't belong here, man. Let's destroy civilization because we're upset about something. Over something that's like totally... They're like totally on the wrong issue on. A cop kills a woman in self-defense. Let's just destroy a hotel. Okay. It's unbelievable. Yeah, we will do nothing. Yeah, they will do fucking nothing. Trump will do nothing. He'll tweet about it. He'll say, these radical Democrat, these cities, look at what happens when you vote Democrat. They destroy our beautiful cities. And he'll say, this is why you need to vote Republican. Why would you vote Republican when they don't do anything about this? Why? Give me a good reason why. So... it would be 100 times worse if Renee Good was a black person. It would be 1,000 times worse if it were like a Somalian, you know? JD Vance is VP for being a keyboard warrior? Yeah. That's all he's good for. It's kind of cook. Bro, I like how all these like what do they call it? Like these novelty accounts just expose themselves whenever they rate India like super high in like any kind of metric. Like really? You're gonna put Mumbai over Rome, over New York City, over Chicago, Rome over, or sorry, Mumbai over Paris. Are we serious right now? Fucking Mumbai. Nice try. Nice try. Tried to sneak that one in. Yeah. Yeah, true. There you go. That's what I was looking for. Not seeing a lot of news on riots in Minnesota. Yeah, it seems like it's just doesn't seem like it's too big. Couple incidents. Looks like they're vandalizing the hotel. But I guess that's about it. The Trump administration is now officially cutting off stamp benefits to Minnesota, citing what officials call widespread and unchecked fraud. According to Politico, well, former Vice President Kamala Harris now holds a higher favorability rating and is more popular than President Donald Trump and Vice President JD Vance combined. We must be unburdened by what has been. That's Brat. That's Brat. She's like, you miss me yet? You miss me yet? U.S. Ag suspending all federal funding to Minnesota effective immediately, cutting off more than $129 million in federal funds to the state and city of Minneapolis. That's all great and all, but you know, you have to go in and arrest people. It's not like, again, as long as these people are like Tim Waltz, Jacob Frey, a lot of these provocateurs that are torching shit, as long as they're still walking around free, it's just like all you're doing is pissing off the left. Again, step in the right direction, sure, but it's just not enough. Arrest people, go in with the National Guard, go in with the military, fucking send Delta Force to Minnesota. You know, and it's just like, come on, dude. No city in South Asia has any sort of symmetry whatsoever. Cut welfare. Cutting off SNAP will cause a riot. Maybe that's what he wants. I think that's what he does. I think he probably does want that, actually. All right. So if you want more pissed off Minnesotans, you want to create a riot. Maybe he does want to create the pretense for federal troops to go in and just start cracking skulls. But let's see it happen. Make some arrests. You know, it's one thing to incite people, like for a purpose of creating the pretext required to do something that you're looking to do. It's another thing to incite people and then do nothing about it. But I feel like I'm looping now. Speaking of cracking skulls, look at that video. Yeah, we looked at this yesterday. We reacted to that yesterday. What a throw, huh? We won't riot if you cut benefits. Yeah, well. Send in, yeah, just send in like fucking Delta Force, you know? Send in the Marines. Whatever. You guys ever play Skate? It was a fun game. Yeah, so true. So true, Unc. So true. Uncle Alex. So true. Gotta get just... What is this all for if you're not gonna go in and start cracking down and cleaning shit up? That's what everybody wants, dude. You want to return to order. Anyway. You love Skate? Yeah. It was a great game. Really fun game. So they're making a new one. So that'll be cool. Anyway. Well, speaking of good games, Crimson Desert looks sick. Maybe I'll react to this as the last thing I do tonight. I was already watching it. I'm like, damn, this game looks... This is a game I've had on my radar for a while. This will be the last thing. We'll end on a fun note.
Crimson Desert. I've been looking forward to this game for years, and I've kept a very close eye on it during that time because it just keeps looking crazier and crazier.
This game looks sick.
And crazier. Like,
and it's coming out this year in a couple of months.
Seriously, anytime you see something, you're like, okay, that's surely the peak of what they've got. They do something like this. You know, it just keeps looking even more insane. And I've talked about the game at length, as I'm sure you guys know. Some of you may have even subscribed based on some of those videos that I made like a year plus ago. For example, there was this one I made back in September of 2024 where I gave it a skeptical look. Sorry for the Lukeception right there. But in this video, I was basically going off of the information we had at the time, asking the question, is this game worthy of your attention and even excitement? Is it all that it looks to be? And in that video, we concluded that at that time, I think based on the information we had, it looked really, really good. And there was reason to believe that it was actually that good. People had played it, people had tried it, and it was looking better and better and better every time it was showcased. But fast forward the clocks to June of 2025, and I actually got the chance to play the game as I described in this video from 6 months ago. I went to LA for Summer Games Fest, Jeff Keighley's event, and I got the chance to try the game there. And so I figured we were overdue for a comprehensive video going through everything we know about Crimson Desert because it is set to release in less than 3 months at this point, and it's just looking even more crazy every single day that goes by. We've got new gameplay clips, new boss fight clips, new siege clips, giant robot dragons, mounting and flying dragons, siege battles where you're controlling the dragon. It's just absolutely insane. And so I want to go through all of this with a refreshed look, a refreshed skeptical look, because listen, being skeptical just means that you are not convinced of a proposition until there is sufficient evidence to accept that proposition. In this case, the question
I'm in the mood
being,
for a really
is
fun
Crimson Desert all that it looks?
fantasy RPG. I'm ready. I'm ready for one. What have I been playing recently? I'll talk about what I've been playing recently. Yeah, I was checking the game out. It looks good. It looks really good. I've been playing Stalker 2 quite a bit. This game is super immersive. It's come a long way. I think it's in a good place now. When it launched, it was kind of a mess, but now it's in like a really promising place. And in like another year, when like the modders, oh, this game is going to be S tier. But right now it's like A-, I'd say. It's in a good spot. So I've been playing a lot of that. Obviously, I've been playing Tarkov. That is what it is. Love-hate relationship as always. This is a fun RPG game. It's an indie game, so, but it's like a good like Skyrim like 1.5 kind of game. Like it like the gameplay is like an evolution of like Skyrim. So I've had a lot of fun with this, but it is like an indie game. So it's not the highest like production value or polish. What's Stalker about? It's about so it's like in this alternate timeline where after the Chernobyl disaster, they created this exclusion zone. It's called the Zone. And in that zone, there's like a bunch of radiation and it's created like these mutants. And there's something going on in the Chernobyl power plant. And there are mutants and there are factions fighting over control of the region. There's weird, bizarre stuff going on. There are these things called anomalies, which are like these hazard areas that like kind of defy physics. Like these gravitational fields that like crush people and stuff. And there are these very rare and valuable artifacts that are coming out of it. And so it's like this survival kind of FPS, horror game of sorts, where you're out there, you're, trying to get to the bottom of what's going on. You're fighting for survival. You're joining a faction. And it's very atmospheric, very immersive, very, very fun, very good game. And when it launched, it was a buggy mess. The devs are Ukrainian, so like the war impacted their development cycle. But it's gotten a lot better over the last year. There's just not a lot of games like this. Very, very immersive. So I've been doing like another like modded playthrough. But anyway. But like a lot of people compare it to like a previous iteration or really like a mod for the previous games that came out like 15 years ago called Stalker Gamma, or rather Stalker Anomaly, and then Gamma's another mod on top of that. And it's just like super immersive and in-depth, and there's just like no game that offers what this franchise offers, I think. You can check out like Stalker Anomaly. That's like a free version of the older modded version of the older games, but it looks scary. Yeah, there are some scary parts to it. When you're out in like when you're down in like an old like Soviet era bunker and it's dark and you hear like mutants and there's like freaky shit going on because your character is like, there's like psychological stuff going on. Yeah, there's some spooky parts to it. It's definitely But yeah, like Stalker Anomaly is like really, I'm going off on a tangent now, but like Stalker Gamma is like a good entry point, I think, but Stalker 2 is not like it. Because this is a like heavily modded experience.
I always wondered how other people got Stalker looking so good. Well, now I know, and I'm gonna show you. After building my dream Stalker Anomaly setup, I had just one thing left to dial in. Those graphics. And who better than the man himself, Hippo, the creator of Atmospherics, to give us a rundown on his screen space shader settings and some tips
jump to some
on how we
gameplay.
can adjust the zone for ourselves. How cool is this, by the way?
Yeah, let me just like find a. Let's just see. Yeah, it's got like, you know, the autistic like gun porn, you know, that a lot of people like, that the Tarkov players love. And
Okay. This is probably the most rapid fire video I've ever done. But I've been busy.
maybe I'll play some
doing,
Gamma.
Extracurricular activities. Like
But when the
building a
modding community,
so I can
like
do
the
some
devs are
editing
still working on Stalker
excursions.
2.
Is that how you say it? Excursions? Yeah. Like that. But here we are.
So the
Back
future
on
is very
Gamma,
optimistic because they've already
which
made a
can go
lot
for
of
wonder.
progress.
So we've got a little job on.
So like Stalker
what
2
about
will
mech
like
mates?
like
It's
when the modding community takes over, Stalker 2 is just going to be on another level.
Been
Because this is all based on like a game that came out originally in 2007. And they just
going
like
in.
turned it into
So I
something
reckon that'd be a good
nuts.
little start, wouldn't it? Yeah, so what I'm thinking, right? Oh wow, look at that.
So you're like in this like
There's,
like very hostile,
like
hazardous
a full
area filled with
playthrough.
mutants,
I'm thinking it's
radiation.
Because I know a lot of people like Gamma. And it gives
Hostile
you a lot of,
mercenaries and
mods straight away.
bandits.
Like I said, it's a little bit bloated for me to understand what's going on.
And you've got to
tailor my
navigate all of
experience,
that, you
and
know?
easy if I cut them down a little bit. I know Custer's working on
Why is YouTube so
playthrough.
slow?
And like my other videos, kind of do the whole cinematic thing, tell the story, and I'll do it in chunks. It's so good to be back, you know. Right, let's get out of here. We have a problem.
Kind of like that
I
Metro
think we
game.
just loaded
Metro was the
the
inspiration,
anomaly
or sorry, Stalker
we
was the
might be
inspiration for Metro.
Nope, not that way.
I think that, or maybe they just came out around the same time, but there are a lot of
Tricky one.
similarities. Stalker was definitely
Yeah, like
the
I said,
inspiration
this
for
is a
Tarkov, though.
one-off for me, because usually I take a lot longer
Big,
to
big
edit my
piece of
videos, but
inspiration.
I can probably put stuff out like this more often if you want. So just let me know down below. Bit of gameplay, bit of talking shit about what's going on, what videos I'm working on. That'll be the dudes taking care of
He got his
business
game to
out
look
there.
really cinematic, though.
Oh my god. What we saying, boys? Oh, it's like the old days. Oh, hi, mate. I swear I've met you before. Yeah, so basically the plan is I'm going to finish this video, we're going to kill this guy, and then I'm going to edit this. It's currently 1 in the morning. I'm going to somehow edit this. He's had enough, mate. He's like me. I'm going to fucking bed. I've had enough. But I'm going to edit this, and then hopefully then that's like, I don't know how I'm going to edit a video in the space of a few hours, and I'm going to go to sleep, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to drive 6 hours to Scotland. It seems like a bad idea. Wow, look at this for a scene. This game is crazy, isn't it? This looks so good.
I guess it's kind of like, the only equivalent would be like Skyrim, you know? This is like Skyrim, but with guns. In like terms of like what modders did to the game, you know?
Look how good
How
that
they've
looks.
you're able to just
I
create
can
this
tell the difference, but
completely refined
did play
and
with
new
it quite a bit until
experience
they were just
from
right.
a game that's
Okay, here
like
we
over a
are.
decade old.
Garbage.
That's why I say,
That's
dude,
all good
modding
there.
is, you know, as far as developers
Actually,
are
I figured
concerned,
out
like
how to
just
approach
give the
this.
players the tools, the means to make their own fun, and look at what they'll do. They'll run with it, man.
What is going on?
Most developers could only dream of having like
Okay.
a community as
Don't know what
dedicated
that
as
was.
like the Stalker franchise or like the Elder Scrolls franchise of people just keeping the game alive for years.
Oh wow. Okay. I think something was some wildlife. Or
So you get these like
something moving through
anomalies
here.
that are hazardous you gotta watch out for.
Not a good track, mate. To be taken. Alright, let's keep moving towards our guy then. Oh, I am stood directly next to an anomaly. What is this? Who's this dude? Okay.
The zombie.
He's either not having a good day, or he's a zombie. Dude, there's another one next to me.
Half-Life fanbase is still there?
Let's take this guy out.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe not. Okay, hopefully there's no others.
Oh, we're never getting Half-Life 3.
Oh my god. Right, let's see if we can... We might be able to see this checkpoint soon. Let's keep pushing around. Some high ground up there might be good. Alright, let's see if we can get over here without anyone seeing us. Right, let's see if we can sneak in here and get ourselves this shot. And then get the fuck out of Dodge. I ain't fighting all these dudes. Which one is he though? That's the question. Right, he's
I guess
moving.
he has a contract, a mission to
He's
kill
quite still,
one of
so
those guys down there.
I think it's that guy who's just walked out.
So it's like this open sandbox.
Let's make sure we got AP rounds on as well, eh?
You pick up missions, you interact
I'm
with
pretty
traders and
convinced
stuff.
of that dude.
You get better
think it's this
gear. You hunt artifacts that are powerful and valuable. Survive against mutants.
Okay, that was him. Let's get the fuck out of here. I ain't even hanging around for that shit. No, I just gotta be careful of these bloody anomalies. Oh,
Oh, I got trapped in one. Oh, it almost ripped him apart,
brilliant.
but he got out somehow. That's pretty cool. So this game, really fun. Anyway, that's what I've been playing recently. Stalker, Tarkov, and a little bit of Tainted Grail. And a little bit of Battlefield, but I'm just waiting for Season 2 to drop because they really need to add a lot to this game. I haven't played Arc Raiders in a while though. But that game's doing really well. So anyway. So this is the game I'm looking forward to quite a bit.
To be? Is it all that it's cracked up to be? And are you justified in being excited for it? But importantly, being skeptical does not mean being cynical, being a negative Nancy, poking holes in everything and just being a party pooper. That's not skepticism. That's just being a jerk. So it's important that we maintain a level head and be fair about all of these things. And as you'll see throughout this video, I think that there are things to be concerned about or to critique and bring up in the discussion, like performance, for example, and how it will run on consoles. But there are other things that I think are just silly or even stupid, and I'm gonna call those out because shocker, game journalists are saying stupid things, and I'm gonna talk about it and make
What's
fun
up,
of them.
Gorpier?
So
How's it
buckle
going,
up.
Doug?
But TLDW, I think Crimson
How's it
Desert
going, man?
looks pretty fantastic.
We're
I don't
just
think there's
whining. We're at
anything
that
like
point
this that's
where-
come out before, as far as I'm aware.
We talked about Minnesota and all that, and we're just winding down now. We're just
in terms of the
We're just
overall
chilling, we're
package
just
and
hanging
what
out
they're
now.
trying to do here. And I don't think it'll be for everybody, but I think the people to whom this does appeal I think they're gonna love it. I think they're gonna eat it up based on my experience playing it. And
We covered what was going on, then we did a little bit of goy scrolling, and now we're just
some
hanging
of the
out.
stuff I've found out about the game over the last few months, because yes, I've actually gotten the chance to speak to some of the people involved with the game, and they've shared some interesting tidbits. I can't share all of it, but more on that later. So Crimson Desert was actually revealed 6 years ago, as you can see, November 22nd of 2019, and it was revealed as an MMORPG, which made sense because the guys behind the game are Pearl Abyss, the same developers as Black Desert Online. So it made sense that they were doing another MMORPG that was taking what they learned from Black Desert and then evolving it into this new
1.5
standalone
X's.
game. But what immediately struck people when they saw this trailer was how much it looked like a single player cinematic narrative game. I mean, you're looking at the trailer right now. This looks much closer to a God of War, for example, than it does to your standard MMORPG. And you can certainly see the inspirations that they took from it. And over the years that followed, it just kept building and building and building. And the developers have been very transparent about it, that they were building an MMO, but then they realized at some point that the game really, the way they've described it to me, it wanted to be a single player game. As they were building it, they set up these set pieces and boss fights and cutscenes, and it just was growing into a single player game. So instead of forcing it into an MMO package, they decided to embrace what it appeared to want to be, and they decided to shift focus and intention from MMO into single player. And that's how we got the version of the game that we have today, which is an RPG that is single player. It's not focused on like narrative choice and consequence, but rather on gameplay choice, consequence, and variety. It's going to feature huge set pieces, a massive open world, all sorts of boss fights, no doubt. And even ones like this, as you can see here, this is a boss fight that's showcased in this trailer from 6 years ago. And you can see it's the gigantic white Yeti looking thing with the antlers. And it was actually something that
at least Renee's two older kids can be cared by her first husband. She had 2 husbands? I didn't even know that. I thought she just had 1. That's crazy. So she had 2 husbands and then she became gay? That's wild. That's wild, man. Wonder if she ever realized she was a problem.
Preserved in the game, and we have seen it recently in some gameplay reveals that have happened over the course of this year. As you can see, here he is right there. He's still in the game, or at least a version of him is. And maybe there's multiple of these boss fights around the map of this particular type of enemy. Maybe that's what it is. And as you can see, they call him the White Horn, but maybe he's just a singular boss fight, or he's like a breed of animal and creature you can find throughout the map. I'm not sure, but he does seem to still be here, which is exciting because some of the other little boss fights they show in that trailer from 6 years ago look really, really good. Like this one where the chained up monster is throwing you around the banquet hall looks absolutely crazy. And so I'm excited to see if this is still in the game. I would imagine it is. They spent a lot of time and effort building that, I'm sure. But this is why people got excited. They saw all of this, and as it transformed into a single player game, they just got more and more excited because it looked absolutely mad. It looked crazy. Like, how are they even doing this? Like, you just don't see games like this coming from studios.
Like, you can like ride a fucking dragon in this
have
game,
never made
like,
a single player game like this before. You know, it seemed too good to be true.
There's just like all these crazy different things
that comes up
you
a
can
lot
do.
when we discuss Crimson Desert,
which looks
because
pretty,
there's just
pretty sick.
so much going on. For example, they dropped a gameplay trailer at Gamescom 2023, and in this they showcased combat, they showcased open world exploration, they showcased like arm wrestling in the game, and every time they cut to a new snippet, there was some new mechanic or element being shown. Like, again, physics with full destruction of towers and buildings, and it's just absolute madness. Again, too good to be true. That was the feeling a lot of people had, is it just was like, how is this a real game? And that, I think, is a very natural feeling and reaction to have when you see something like this. Again, the horse animation is phenomenal. The open world looks insanely huge and detailed. It's madness. And I think that that's justified, a justified reaction. But what they did in response to that skepticism was exactly what studios should do. They said, oh, you don't believe us that this is real? Bet. Go check it out. Here's the game to media, to influencers, whoever, whatever you want to call us. They let us go and play it. And so at Gamescom, at Summer Games Fest, at I think Tokyo Game Show, at a lot of these award shows, they've just given people the chance to play demos of it for 30 minutes or for an hour or more, myself included. And this is what's just crazy, is that the game just is what it appears to be. Like, it just is that massive. It just is that crazy. And it's, I think, in large part because the developers are used to building out an MMO. They're used to weekly game updates. They're not doing the Bethesda Game Studios like we'll update it once every year and a half. They're not doing that like BGS did for Fallout 4. No, their thing is we do massive updates and overhauls to our games regularly. So, you know, if something breaks or if we need to add content, we can do it on Friday. You know, it's a different mindset and mentality. But this is where I think the next frontier of game development is going to be. It's not going to be necessarily just from like the indie guys who of course, you know, are more empowered now than ever to make big successful games, but I think it's going to come from these developers in Eastern markets, places like Korea, places like China and Japan, and these studios who have historically done a lot of like MMO work or mobile game work. Those studios are starting to break into the single player space, and there's a few different terms for the types of games that are really popular in Western markets. Some people call them like prestige games or trophy games. Others may call them like Game Awards bait games. You know, the types that you see a trailer for them and you just go, oh, this is going to do well.
Wait, what? Wait, what are you saying, Smelly? What's just... Wait. Huh? Wait, is what just you? Or it's the video? What are you talking about, Smelly? I'm confused. Oh, the echo? Sorry, that's probably my headphones. Probably bleeding through. My bad.
Jeff's gonna like this
My
one.
headphones are
you
too
know,
close
this
to,
trailer you may not recognize, but this is from a studio
I can do this. Let
that
me turn
previously has done like no work in the single player space. They've made...
Hang on one sec. Make sure I'm not... All right. What did I have at 85? Let me do this. There we go.
Mobile games for Chinese markets, but they have decided to break into the single player space by making a game called Blood Message that straight up just...
It's because it's bleeding through my headphones because these are like, I don't know what they're called. What I forgot the name of the technology, but you can like see through them. So there is like audio bleed. So I need to not have my fucking head too close to like the, you know, my ginormous, huge noggin too close to my microphone, you know, breathing into my mic and having to, yeah.
Looks like God of War meets Tomb Raider meets Uncharted. Like, it's absolutely crazy, and it's coming from a studio that previously has done nothing of the sort, but the production value is insane, and it's because there is a lot of amazing talent in Korea, in China, in Japan, all over the world, of course, but
the headphones sound amazing. The headphones, the Hi-Fi Man Edition XS's, that's plugged into a 4.4 balanced triple win audio cable into the K7 DAC amp by FiO. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. They sound amazing. And look, at this point, it's like my branding, I guess, right? The big fucking headphones. It's like, you know how like Tenryo always has his headphones on? You know, I feel like I'm like Tenryo. So
those studios have pretty much stayed focused on these more gotcha heavy games, the mobile games, the MMO games that are really popular in those markets. But I think Black Myth Wukong and other successful games, at least that are,
it's not about you. It's always successful, like it always should have been
Zero. They are really exciting investors and those studio heads. And showing them, you know what? No, we could show what we can do. We can showcase our talent, put it in this different package that appeals to Western markets, I think, a lot more than like your typical gacha game that might be popular on mobile devices in China. And I mean, the production quality speaks for itself. And so this is not an isolated incident when we're discussing Crimson Desert, okay? Like, Crimson Desert looks great, absolutely, but to anybody who's like, this is totally unprecedented and nobody could ever do this after doing other types of games before, no, it's actually becoming more and more common, and I think it's going to be even more common over the next 5 years as a lot of studios, I think, will break away from those mobile games and the MMO stuff, and they'll start to break into single player game development, and it's going to make a lot of Western studios look like they're not even trying. Seriously,
what is even going on? What am I looking at?
It's madness. But this brings us to perhaps our first critique, which I think is totally fair to bring up, okay? It's a very valid concern that a lot of people have brought up, including myself, and that is simply performance. A lot of what they showcase in all
long video. It's a long video. Yeah, the game looks pretty sick though. Maybe we'll skip ahead to combat. Who's talking about combat?
That's not what this is. That brings me to discussion of the combat, which I think is probably the most important aspect of this. You see,
Like
people
this
have
camera
noticed
angle?
since the moment the gameplay was shown off that it looks very
has a better
different
camera
than
angle?
what we're kind of used to. Nowadays, most
Maybe I
open
should
world
go with, like,
games
the
use
three-
the
what
very,
is that?
very overly simplified
2 o'clock?
Souls-like system of
2
like
o'clock camera
R1
angle?
light attack, R2 heavy attack. Maybe there's like an L1 block, and maybe there's like an advanced move with L2 or something, but it's fairly basic and straightforward. And most of
You
the
like mine
gameplay
better?
within combat is about timing and then distance management.
Hmm.
This game is not like that. This game is built much closer to action games or fighting games than it is to a Souls-like, which is where a lot of the discussion of controls and combat complexity and difficulty starts from. A lot of the gaming journalists, love you guys. You know I only make fun of you because it's really funny. A lot of them have played this game at events like Summer Games Fest, Gamescom, you name it. And they walk away expressing frustration at the controls. One of the people in my live stream chat like a few months ago described this article from Kotaku as a travesty. Which I just thought was funny. But basically, it's an article written by Kenneth Shepard for Kotaku. Insert joke about Kotaku here. But it was written by Kenneth Shepard of Kotaku.
Nobody
and it was
takes
based on the same
game journalists
gameplay
seriously.
demo and preview that I tried back in June as well. This demo was based around showing everybody what the sieges would look like within the game. So they wanted to flex how they could have 200 plus NPCs on
What?
screen at a time. Just crazy levels of simulation
What
and
the fuck is
combat. I mean,
going
it's absolutely insane. It really does feel like a siege. It's chaotic.
crazy.
And then at the end
That's
of that
wild.
demo, there's a boss fight and all of that, as you would expect. It's a pretty straightforward demo that takes like 40 to 50 minutes to complete for most people. But in this article from Kotaku, they express how they were like struggling with whether they were going to call it bad or not for me, because their editor wanted them to be more confident in their answer, but all of that's beside the point. But basically what they ended up saying was the level of frustration I felt playing Crimson Desert probably goes beyond what anyone involved expected. I could feel my annoyance creeping into other parts of my mind. As my thoughts bounced between every other frustration I was feeling in Los Angeles that day, it all coalesced as I fumbled with the game's unintuitive controls, being pestered by a massive crowd of enemies who never seemed to lose aggro. The enemies were attacking me. Sorry, I'm professional. No matter how far I rode my horse to get away from them while trying to reach my quest objective, the enemies followed me,
Okay, right.
guys.
Who
Your
cares what
target
the
over your
journalist has to say? I don't care.
There's a role, and it's mainly about timing and positioning. But when they get into it, they realize that's not what this game is. This game is built on combos. It plays much closer to a Bayonetta or Devil May Cry than it does a standard Souls-like, which I actually greatly prefer. I find it more interesting and compelling, especially because some of the combos you can do, as you'll see in this gameplay snippet, are absolutely crazy. But with that, I think a lot of people sit down to the demo and then try to play it like a Souls-like and end up having a bad time because that's not how you control it. That's not how you do it. But I think the more important reason why this complaint is pretty silly is because when you go and sit down at a demo, you are playing like 70% of the way through the game. And think of any other video game. If you sit down and you've never touched it before and it plays unlike anything you've played before, you're gonna have a hard time figuring out the controls in 5 minutes before you.
Anyway. Now he's just like really kind of nitpicking. But game looks good. I think it comes out in March. So I'll probably be checking it out. Anyway, I'm gonna end it on there. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. I want to talk about what's going on in Argentina and maybe a little bit about Iran tomorrow or Sunday. Great show. I appreciate it. I felt like today kind of sucked. What a fucked up day. What a fucked up day. Appreciate you guys being here. Yeah, rest in peace, Christine. Make sure you everyone say a prayer for her and her family. Yeah. Appreciate you guys. That's all I have for you. Don't forget to do all that. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out the video I posted. Oh wow, we got 5 views. That's crazy. Wow. Shit. Yeah. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, I will see you guys all next time. Like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, God bless. See y'all next time.